All right, thanks for sticking around. We appreciate it. In the previous segment, we talked about all of the foolishness that's been happening in Minneapolis involving the officer killing of George Floyd. But right now, what we're going to do, we're going to jump into a little bit of politics as we normally do. We're joined tonight by Congressional Aid and one half of the Hip Politics podcast, Michael McQuerry. Brother McQuerry, what's going on, man?
My friends, how you doing? I can't complain right now. I mean, there's a lot going on, but I can't complain.
Nah, I get you. As we said off air, I typically do not have Kappas on the show. They typically cause a lot of trouble and a lot of heartache. But I made some exceptions for you, pulled some strings and said, all right, we're going to go ahead and do this thing.
I appreciate it. Your ratings probably going to go up, too, at the same time.
Boy, you started some shit.
See,
you started some shit up in here.
Already
you started some shit. And we got an H2 alum up in here.
All right, but for those folks that may not be familiar with you, man, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I've been living here in Washington, D.C. for about 24 years. I'm currently the communications director for Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, who represents the Virgin Islands. I've worked for 3 members of Congress, well, 4. Actually, all of them have been women. Barbara Rose Collins from Detroit, Eddie Bernice Johnson from Texas, and Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas. I'm also one half of, like you said, a Hip Hop Politics podcast, where we try to fusion hip hop and politics here in D.C. And I'm 1/3 of a group called MBM Entertainment, the usual suspects. We also throw parties here in the city. So I kind of got my hands a little bit of everything. But right now, my main focus is Congress and what's going on around here, not only in the United States, but also in the world. So it's good to be with y'all fellas.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for being on the show, man, and taking the time out, man. I know you got a busy schedule and all that, so we won't keep you too long. But let's jump right into it, man. Main reason why I wanted to have you on the show is to talk about this stimulus package, or at least the second stimulus package that's supposed to be coming down the pike. We've already gotten that first check, or a lot of folks that fall within the category, I guess, have gotten that. Well, I won't even say that. Some folks haven't even gotten their money yet still, but that's a whole different conversation. We'll add that in. Mm-hmm. What is the plan now for additional stimulus, if any, coming through the United States Congress, man?
It was so funny when I talked to you a couple of weeks ago. I told you this week will probably be a good week because we'll probably have another package done. Actually, it'll be the 5th package. Members of Congress came into session this week, and they got nothing done. So what we hear, the Democrats passed a bill 2 weeks ago, $3 trillion. That would have gave everybody else another stimulus check, handled the PPP, put some more money in that program. The Senate has not taken it up. But you have a person over there by the name of Mitch McConnell, who's people don't realize that he's one of the most powerful people in this country from Kentucky that's holding a lot of people's what they need. He's holding it back. He's holding back on it. So the Senate won't take up any type of stimulus package again for another 2 weeks. So I want you to imagine all the stuff that's going on around in this country, how it's a powder keg right now, and you're going to have the Senate's not even going to consider another stimulus package for 2 weeks. It's about to get hot around here.
Why 2 weeks?
Well, because first of all, they take off a week just for what they call a recess. They won't be here. They won't even be here all week, all of next week. But for anything to pass, the House and the Senate both have to agree. The Senate being Republican, the House being Democrat, it's just a lot going on. But you would think that they could put all that aside and work for what's going on with these people out here that's hurting. But you can't. That doesn't happen. It's not that simple. I tell people up here, if you're living in D.C., we sort of live in a box because a lot of people outside of D.C. don't understand what really goes on here in this city. And it's a lot of trickery. A lot of people playing games with people's lives, and they really don't care about it too much. And it's starting the effects of this pandemic and everything else is starting to take effect, and it's only going to get worse in the next few weeks. So the Democrats are trying to make sure everyone gets a stimulus check up until this pandemic is over, which we're talking next year. Right now, they're talking January, February, that this might be over, which we don't even think is that time because they're working on a vaccine. The vaccine, they might only get 10 million doses of it. I know where 535 of those are going. They're going to the 100 senators and the 435 members of Congress are going to get theirs. But what about the rest of us? What about our community? Are we going to be the first ones to get it? 10 million doses for 300 million people. Think about that. So the next couple of weeks are pivotal around in this country, and for the direction of this country. It's a big decision on how we handle this pandemic and how we handle, taking care of people. They just announced that 30 million people have lost their jobs in the last 4 months. That's 1 in 4 people in the United States who will not have a job.
Okay, so let me ask you this, man. Given circumstances, I thought that the Senate had already put together a package of their own. Have they voted on that, or have they even actually put together that package? Because I know it's been a lot of hand wringing and noise making they've been doing.
Yeah, the Senate hasn't put anything together yet. It's the House that put together a package. The House did, but the Senate hasn't done anything yet. The Senate could be, if they wanted to, they could take what the House worked on, take that bill and just change it up. But the Senate has not put anything forward yet. It was the House of Representatives who put their marker in the ground 2 weeks ago. And they came into the session this week, and nothing happened on either end or with either of those bills.
It's interesting given the fact that we've already had this initial stimulus package. The question that a lot of people are asking, and probably a lot of Republicans for that matter, is how come they didn't put all of this stuff in the first bill?
They didn't. First of all, they didn't know how much it was going to cost. They didn't know that. They just threw out that number. It was that $1 trillion bill is something that's very, very rare in Congress. I mean, the budget for the United States is maybe $6 or $7 trillion supposedly, but to put a $1 trillion package together, they did not expect it to be. They just threw a number out there. They didn't know it would be this much. They didn't know how long this pandemic would last. They also thought that maybe we could take care of it by this time. No one expected that this might be going. When they did the first packages, they expected this might last just a month and we'd be done. But when the second, you see, we got 2, 3, and now we're number 5. They didn't expect how severe this was going to be, and that goes to show that. And in other words, I'm just trying to say is that your government was not prepared. It's the bottom line. They were not prepared for this, and so we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants and playing it by ear.
Okay, you've been in this game long enough. What do you anticipate happening, especially just given the fact, like you said, Republican-held Senate? It's going to be very tough, especially given the fact that Mitch McConnell's already said that pretty much everything coming through that door is dead on arrival, man. So Can we really expect another check, or is this just a lot of smoke and mirrors? And I'll follow it up with another question after you answer this.
I got to tell you this. It's probably going to be another check. It's going to be might be another few checks coming down the pipe. But the problem is, the biggest thing that's stopping this that's over our head is November in this election. They're playing politics with people's lives. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's what Donald Trump is doing, and the Senate is aiding and abetting him right now. They're playing. So, and then you can figure that you have the election in November, but you know what? Trump doesn't get out of there till January.
I was very
so you technically what you're doing, you have until January to deal with this, and then whoever we bring in, please do not think that it's gonna be done overnight. Correct it. You got maybe another few months if you got another administration comes in and what they have to do. But imagine if we keep Donald Trump in, what it's going to look like, where we're going to be at. And I mean, I just think we need to, it was a friend of mine on Facebook that said that we need to focus on the Senate. No, we really need to focus on the White House because basically, I said 2 words, the Supreme Court. You got to just think about that. We're already in a quagmire on our rights and what's going on now with the pandemic. Imagine if we do survive this, let's hope we do, and you get Trump gets elected again, how it's going to change the dynamics of that Supreme Court and what can be taken away from us that way,
Yeah. My follow-up question to that is, given that you're on the inside, man, what is your biggest fear going forward with not just the stimulus, but I guess completely with the stimulus, how it's going to be pushed forward or what might not happen? Outside of the bill not getting passed, I guess there has to be other concerns that you have, right?
Right. Well, I'm concerned. What concerns me now is that we've been shown this as a country that we're vulnerable. We've always been the biggest and the baddest. Nobody can infiltrate us or anything. But this was something that was could have been very easily maybe halted or taken care of. But we've shown the world that we are not as strong as everybody thinks that we are. We're not as powerful as everybody thinks that we are. And that transcends to, I was telling people the other day when President Obama was in office, if you traveled overseas and went out of the country, they loved you. They liked you. You know, you're an American.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You go
They
to
hate
another
your ass.
country or anything like that and tell them where you're from, and you better be glad that hopefully you can get out. But you don't even wear I'm American gear or anything like that in some places no more. And you know what scares me now is that those were a few places in the world that were like that. Now there's many more. And that's not, you can't reverse that mentality of how people are gonna feel look at us now. So that's what really, you know, what scares me is now when we go out of this country now, you'll be looked at differently. You got to watch yourself if you want to go and do that because of, you know, what's a lot of shenanigans that's going on now.
Yeah. I guess, man, my question is more, I have a love-hate relationship with politics. For the longest time, I was one of those ones who was like, fuck politics. The voting shit's not working and hasn't benefited us for so long, yada, yada, yada. Got educated more, got involved with actually doing some work on the boots on the ground type shit. So my thought process has changed a little bit to the point where now voting is some shit that I know we should be involved in. But at the same time, man, what do you say to people who are disillusioned with the system, who still hold that mentality of, yo, this voting shit ain't working, yada, yada, yada. You know all of the things that people say our people particularly say in regards to the system. What are some words that you would say to them to kind of help sway them, guide them, whatever direction you choose to take them?
Oh, you know, sometimes I tell people you have to not make this about you. You have to think about your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your siblings, your family, other people on what's good for them. Just because you don't think that your vote or voting is helping anything does not mean that it's doesn't mean that you might have some credence in that for you personally. But you gotta take yourself out of the situation and start thinking about the world that you live in as a whole, especially if you're if you're a person that has children of your own. You know, you gotta think about how is this system going to help them down the road and when you're not here. So I mean, people, you know, a lot of people they say that. I haven't run into too many people that talk like that now because I think in this day and age, a lot of people to vote is something very, very serious, very powerful, very personal to people. And you don't find too many people out now here right now that's going to, I think, just say that, you know, publicly in a very big forum now that they don't, you know, vote. They're not going to vote on this dissolution about it. You can be disillusioned about it as much as you want to,
and still
go into that ballot box and, you know, just pull the lever. And you can even do write-in candidates. If you're so disillusioned with it, go in that and vote for yourself. You know, let's see where it goes from there. You never know, because I've seen people get in on write-in candidates have done it before. But if you're mad with the system, let's try your best to get in and change the system.
That's good. That's good.
I got a follow-up question going back to, not necessarily to the stimulus, but just going back to what Congress is trying to do to protect workers. In my day job, I am a contractor for the federal government. There's a lot of people that are concerned about what the workplace is going to look like once they get back into the offices. It seems as though Congress, at least from the Senate side, I won't say from the House side, but at least from the Senate side, doesn't really seem like they're willing to or want to put down the guide rails necessary to protect workers. Given everything that's happened with OSHA, the step back that they've taken, given the recent CDC guidelines that came out that were really kind of watered down, given the fact that they're trying to find some way to manipulate allowing corporations to not be held liable if they force folks to come back to work. What type of guidelines, what type of laws, what type of instruction is Congress trying to put together to try and help protect workers? To your knowledge, whatever you know.
And to be honest with you, they're doing nothing about that. Nothing at all. One reason is because your real estate entity is a very heavily Republican entity. Though the real estate, they have a conglomerate that's backed by a lot of people who are their political leanings are Republican. They own a lot of land. They own a lot of property. And so they're not in a hurry to have the government make any changes because it might affect their bottom line. One, for instance, we don't know. I mean, I work on Capitol Hill. We do not know exactly when we are going back to work because a lot of people up there are scared to come back. And you know what those people, most of those people look like? They're white people. They're the ones that, you know, they're like, we're not going back until you get it, you know, get this straight now. If it was, you know, and then they don't have to work. We can work from home. They've made it that easy that we can work from home. Some of these, they're going to find this pandemic is going to teach a lot of businesses that, first of all, employees are expendable. And second of all, it's cheaper if you let them work from home. You know, you will be able to cut a lot of things down. The copier, a lunchroom, your bottom line is going to that's going to shrink a little bit. But they're going to find out that it's easier to have your employees work from home remotely, and you don't need as many of them. But the government right now has not even thought about that. That's not even on our radar of how we're going to when we get back to normal, what it's going to look like. For example, as you know, the DC mayor is opening the city up a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's asking that everyone still telework, work from home.
Yeah.
They're asking that like that. So sometimes you gotta take. It's sad that you gotta take your instructions from what's good in a way, but your mayors and you have a president who's right here and leaders in your Senate and the United States Congress who can't tell you what's going on. You know, but you know, so it seems like your mayors, and I mean, that's a telltale sign that she knows something that we still need to telework. It's still not done yet.
Brother McQuerry, man, I'm not trying to get you in trouble, man. You over here spilling the tea and shit. I don't want you to get in trouble when you get back to work.
Yeah, it's no problem, man. I'm pretty insulated when it comes to speaking my mind on stuff like this.
Okay, I just hope your boss don't let your boss write me because I didn't cause you to come and say this stuff on. I'm just saying. Let me tell you,
members of Congress don't write no more. They don't write. They don't even have people. That's another thing. Some of them are kind of disillusioned and they don't do things like that. Power is very powerful. When members of Congress, when people get power, it definitely goes to their head. You can definitely see that. I'm up here in D.C. where we're in D.C. with these members, and just when they get elected, you can see how it changes some of them sometimes. And
where do you? We going on a whole different topic, but I want.
Yeah, we are.
But I want to hit it. Do you think that comes from, I guess, the age range that a lot of these politicians are, or do you think it's just a matter of coming to D.C. and you just fall in line with everything that happens in D.C.?
I think it's the latter. It's definitely you, especially when you get your members who come from Montana and Wyoming, and they come to D.C. and all of a sudden you have everybody that you got congressman, congresswoman, or senator in front of your name. The doors just open up. Everything is given to you, and that definitely changes people. Be you white, be you black, it changes people, and some for the good, some for the bad. But it's just a lot of politics is a game. It's definitely a game. And it gets a powerful game. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to school in Mississippi, Jackson State, and I got elected student body president. And when I saw the power that I got from being student body president, that's one thing that I get a big ebook. I can understand what you're saying. I wasn't a big fan of politics, when I was growing up either. I'm from Detroit. There was a lot of shenanigans going on in Detroit. My boy Kwame Kilpatrick was the mayor at the time.
Yeah.
So I was not. I was not a fan of it either. But once I tell people if they're old enough to watch Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a Bill. It explains everything that's going on. It's a lot behind the scenes. But when I got up here, I got the power as a student president at Jackson State, and it showed me what I could kind of do with it.
And what I could get with it.
Exactly. Exactly. So I said to myself, I want to be in politics. What city? Where do I want to go? And Washington, D.C., this city affects everything that happens in the world. Somehow, it affects it. Somehow. Plus, we got 3 airports. You can get anywhere you want to real quick if I want to. So, and I'm just saying, just for me, how I know what it did for me, I can imagine what it does for other members of Congress. And you can see what it's doing to Trump. Trump has this power. For a man that has to get the access of anybody's FBI file that he wants to, that's power. You wonder why you got your senators around here going crazy like a Lindsey Graham, and I wonder because he got your FBI, he has your file. He's just telling you, look, I know all this about you, and this is what you're going to give me. This is what I want to do. It's as simple as that. This man, Trump is not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he got all this power at his hands. And look what it's kind of doing to him, you know? And it's just, I find it very interesting that, you know, you got people that want to take his job, and it's going to be the same thing. I mean, the power, but I hope Mr. Biden does it. I mean, there's no alternative after Biden. So let's go. We got to go.
You know, we was beefing about that the other day, man, when we was talking.
We were.
Listen. I'm going to ask the question, man. Mm-hmm. Given circumstances, man, I know that we don't really have an alternative, but the argument always comes up is like black people are quick to jump on other black people's back if you even question the fact of calling him out on something. This is the same thing that people were saying about Obama. It's like, oh, you guys love Obama so much, man. Like, it's not like the dude is perfect. But folks are like, okay, because we got this devil in the office now, people are willing to tolerate other foolishness. So what do you tell folks that want to become part of the process, are willing to criticize their political electors, but at the same time, you got folks like you noops that be jumping on people's back, causing all this trouble?
Well, this is what I tell. With this one, we got an exit plan with Biden. First of all, Biden is only doing one term. Second of all, Biden has to elect.
You're not going to say something like that. Just roll right by. Okay, why is he only doing one term now?
First of all, his age. He's already. Okay. Yeah, Biden's going. So that's why. What's important?
Reagan was an old ass dude too.
Yeah, Biden is really just a placeholder to you. Pay attention to whoever he picks for vice president. That's going to be who you're going to. That's going to be. It's probably going to be a black woman. So that, I mean, like I said, after what Biden said, I told you we don't. Who else is there? What's the alternative but Trump? I'm gonna give Biden he's gonna get my vote, but Biden and I'm sort of Biden is not gonna run for a second term. He's only gonna do one term, and whoever his vice presidential pick is gonna be our heir apparent. But that's who we have to watch. That's our exit out of this. We just gotta get Biden in, do his 4 years, and the next where the VP might be, from what I'm saying, is either Kamala Harris or Val Demings, or those are the two front runners.
You think Val Demings is gonna get it?
I've talked to members of Congress. For
those that don't know, Val Demings is a representative from Florida. So
yeah, I've talked to members of Congress, and I've talked to people that my friends are in politics. Her name keeps coming up, and in this city, your name does not keep coming up for a reason if you're not being vetted very strongly. In my opinion, I'm a Kamala Harris fan. I would think that she would be but after I think about Val Demings and her credentials, she would be a good one too. My point is, do enough people know who she is? Yeah. Do you know that this woman can shoot a 9mm? Do you know that this woman she rides a motorcycle? It's a lot of stuff. She makes it appealing. I don't know if I would see her. I don't know if I see her being president though. That's I can see a Kamala Harris as being a president, but I don't know if I can see a Val Demings being a president.
Okay, so no Stacey Abrams or Amy Klobuchar for you?
No. Amy, you if they put a white woman up there, then a lot of people ain't gonna go and vote for real now.
But you just said, what other choice do we have? Yeah, you just told me that. No. I said we have an exit plan. Biden's if he gets elected, he's gonna get elected. It's just who his vice presidential candidate is. But it's not gonna be Amy Klobuchar. I can tell you that right now. He said he's gonna pick a woman. He's going to have to pick. He's going to pick a black woman. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He's going to do that. For certain. Got to. Yeah. He's already made a promise that it's gonna be a woman, but he's got to pick a black woman, especially what we're going through now. Definitely, that's to push that envelope. The Amy Klobuchar out the window now. I'm gonna tell you that now, just as a political.
Not bring no Karen up in there.
Yeah. Hell no. Hell no.
He bring a Karen in there. It's over.
Nah.
Listen, man.
Nah, we need Erica. We don't really care. We need Erica.
We trying to get listeners, man. Don't let this dude Michael get you guys ringed into some terrible stuff that's going to get our listenership falling down.
He tell the truth, like we tell the truth. I mean,
that's real. That's real shit.
Okay, Michael McQuerry, man, my homie. I appreciate it, man. Please, before you go, tell these good folks where they can find you if they'd like to find you, man.
Hey, IG or Twitter, I'm at DC Noop90, DC NUPE90. I played Spring of 1990, long time ago. And Facebook, Michael J. McQuerry. And we also on Hip Politics on Facebook too. Hey, gentlemen, this has been great, man. We gonna have to do this again and maybe merge the shows one time and see
Hell
what we
yeah.
get out of it.
Hold up, your
See
homeboy,
what
your
type of
co-host.
shit
He's
we
not.
can
He's
get
not a
into.
noob, is he? He doesn't act like one.
No,
so I
no,
didn't
no.
want to jump to
He didn't
conclusions.
play his cameras. Without.
Okay,
No.
okay.
No,
That makes me feel
not at all. Not at all.
That makes
not
me
at
feel
all.
at least a little bit more comfortable. I can deal with that now.
Yeah, no problem, my man.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all
Nice
be
meeting
easy.
you, bro. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Hey.